Teaching Kitchen. I'm Sarah Bodner, and I'm going to show you how to make homemade Butterfinger candy. I think my favorite part about the Halloween season is having just like an excess of candy. After I eat through my bulk bag of candy corn, I never know what to do with it. I try to find another use for it, and I think I found the most ultimate use for it, and that's making homemade Butterfinger. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. First, we'll talk through our ingredients. It's very simple. We have candy corn, we have peanut butter, we have crushed cornflakes, melting chocolate or chocolate chips, and honestly, that is it to make homemade Butterfingers. Super easy. So the other part that I thought would be really fun and to make candy making less scary is to do it in a microwave. This way we're able to make the candy. It's not super scientific. We know that it's fine, and you don't need any special equipment to make homemade Butterfinger. So to start, we're going to start with just 3 cups of candy corn. This regular candy corn, I'm going to put that into a microwave safe bowl. Mine's glass. You can use plastic, just make sure it says microwave safe on the bottom. Then from there, we're going to add half a cup of peanut butter. You can use peanut butter. If you want a different thing, you can use almond butter if you can't have peanuts. The only thing you can't do is use the all-natural kind that separates, because the natural oils will prevent the sugar from crystallizing, so you have to make sure it's an emulsified peanut butter and nut butter. So from there, we're going to go into the microwave. From this microwave, you want to set it at 50% power and start in 30-second increments so that we can stir it frequently so the sugar doesn't burn. So we're going to get that started. While that is starting to melt, I'm going to show you the other pieces that we need to get set. To put your Butterfinger into a mold, you need an 8x8 inch cake pan. You can use disposable, that's what we're using today. If you have an aluminum cake tin, you can use that, or even a round. I just like the square because it helps me direct the lines so I can make really perfect looking Butterfinger. From there, you need 2 pieces of parchment. They're about 8 inches wide by about 12 or 13 inches long. The reason you need 2 is because you're actually going to make this really cool sling within your cake pan. I know it looks like there's a lot of extra edge, but it's actually going to help us lift when the candy is done and prevent a big sugar mess. So that is that. We have just a couple seconds left on our microwave. I'm going to open it up and show you what our candy looks like. Right now it doesn't look too much different. The peanut butter is a little melty. Candy corn is just starting to get melty. Don't worry, I promise it's going to turn into something that looks like Butterfinger. It's going to take us a couple tries. So all you need to do, because the microwave does heat in spots and from the inside out, just want to make sure you stir everything around really well so that the heat gets distributed. Make sure you don't leave any candy corn left on your spoon. And we're going to put it back in for another 30-second increment. Perfect. While that's back in the microwave, we're just going to do our other piece, which is our cornflake crunchies. This is the part that's really going to give your Butterfinger that texture, that really crispy, crunchy part. For that, we're going to need about a cup of cornflakes. If you like extra texture, you can actually do as much as almost 2 cups. But 1 cup gives it about the equivalent of a regular store-bought Butterfinger crunch. So right here, we have about a cup of regular cornflakes. What I'm going to do to crush them is simple. I'm just going to throw it into a reusable or regular sandwich bag, and then crush it with a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can start with your fingers just like I am. With the rolling pin, we just want to let out a little extra air so it doesn't explode. And then we're just going to crush the cornflakes. The other thing you can use if you don't have a rolling pin is a filled reusable water bottle. Something like that is also really handy. And you actually want to crush these really fine so that they have a nice crispy texture and you don't get big crunches. Okay. Great. So when those start looking like sand, they're ready. Our Butterfinger are now ready for round 2, so I can show you what they look like again. Right now they're looking a little meltier. They're starting to break up, they're starting to crunch. Peanut butter is more liquid. I know it's not looking like anything yet, but it's almost there. So we're going to do another 30 seconds. I think if I had to guess, we're going to have 2 more 30-second rounds before it is time to shape our Butterfinger. Okay, back in it goes. piece I could talk about while it's still melting is the chocolate. What I like to use are these melting wafer chocolate discs. They look like flat. You can buy them in either grocery store and craft stores. What's really nice about these is that they're already pre-tempered, so that means you don't have to keep them in a refrigerator and then they melt really easily. They're kind of a specialty item. They're not super hard to come by, but if you can't find these, you can always use baby semi-sweet mini chocolate chips, whole chocolate chips, anything like that. But to get them to set, you might have to put them in the refrigerator. So now that we've reviewed our pans and chocolate, our microwave just dinged and we are ready to look at our Butterfinger center. Looking at it now, it looks a lot different. Candy corn is definitely melted and smooth. The peanut butter is definitely incorporated in. It is definitely almost homogeneous and definitely warm, so definitely be careful. But it is looking great. So from here, what we do while it's still hot is we're going to take roughly our 1 cup of crushed cornflake and mix it right in while it's hot. And this is a really great time to have this rubber spatula. It really helps get into all the nooks and crevices and also help the sugar from sticking to the side of the bowl. If you don't have a rubber spatula, that's okay, but I would recommend either using a spoon sprayed with a little cooking spray or a little bit of cooking oil. Okay. Here comes the fun part for me. From here, I like to use my hands, so I'm going to put on a pair of rubber gloves. Mix this with my hands, and then we're going to press it right into our pan. So we want to get all of these crunchies. And be careful, I definitely have chef hands, so this is a little hot. So if you want to let it cool for about another 5 minutes, you can. Or you can just wear a second pair of gloves and then it will feel less hot. You won't get burned, it's just warm. Okay. So all of my crunchies are just about incorporated. It's kind of like fun candy Play-Doh. Okay, and from here I'm going to pick it up and put it into my pan. Get our bowl out of the way. And just use your fingers and press it into the pan. Like I said, if this is a little too hot, you can use the back of a spoon or a spatula. You want to work while it's warm, but if it's uncomfortable to you, we want to make sure this is fun. So if this is warm, just use the back of your spatula. Press. And you can't mess this part up. You can just keep molding it like Play-Doh until it's even. Press it down evenly. Get it right into the corner. Perfect. So from here, what you want to do is let it cool for 15 minutes. You don't want to put it in the fridge or anything like this because we want to get to a spot where we can cut it. So while this is cooling, I have like the magic of TV version. This is one I did a little while earlier. Here it is perfectly cooled. This out of our way too. So now this is why we did that original parchment paper cradle. We actually are able to lift it up and it pops right out one piece. Now before I do that, the next part we're going to talk about is our chocolate. So you're going to take your 2 packages of melting wafers, roughly 10 to 12 ounces, or chocolate chips, and put it in the microwave. I'm just going to heat mine up and melt it a little earlier. So I just want to warm mine up. To do the chocolate, we can either decide to cut the bars into shapes, or if you want to make it very low maintenance, you can spread the chocolate around just on the top in one big brick and then cut them. It's up to you. One look is a little more polished, the other one's a little more fun. Just depends what you feel like. Okay. So I have some nice melted chocolate here. Make sure it's, again, evenly melted. That looks great. For our purposes, I'm going to put in just for a few more seconds just because I want it to be a little more liquid so it's easy to dunk. Okay, so from here, you can lift it right out and cut it into bars. What I like to do is cut 6 by 3 to give you 18 fun size bars. I think you get the most out of it that way. So you actually would start cutting right down the center and then 3 on each side and then 3 in half. The other thing you can do, like I said, you can spread the whole bar and then cut it. Or if you want full size candy bars, you actually can get 12 full size candy bars. So for this, I already have some I cut earlier. So here are what the 6 by 3 candy bars look like. So this is the size of the 18 fun size bars that you would get. Our chocolate is coming out. It's pretty perfect. Stir it around. Okay. So from here we're going to chocolate dunk. You have a chocolate dunk before, it's not super hard. If you're nervous, you could even half dunk, so all you have to do is use your gloved hand, half dunk, shake off the excess, kind of scrape a little on the bottom, and you can half dunk them if you'd like. But to full dunk, which is what I do, is you just pick up the whole bar and drop it square in the bowl of chocolate. Use a big long fork and flip it over once in the bowl, and then again. I'm going to have you zoom in so you can see the chocolate's completely covered. There's no fancy technique here. I'm just flipping it over in the chocolate and then using my fork to bring it up. From here, you're going to have gravity help you. I usually tap on the side of the bowl a little bit to get some of the chocolate to fall back into the bowl. Falls through the tines of the fork. You can scrape a little, it will help also. From there, you can just, again, let gravity kind of help you. Gravity help you, and your chocolate goes right onto the sheet. And then you just repeat and do it again. So I'm going to do it again just so you can see it. So drop it square in, nothing fancy. These are pretty sturdy. I'll hold my bowl so you can see it. Flip, flip. Lift it up. Tap it on the side of the bowl, let gravity kind of do the work for you. You can scrape a little off the side to help you going. A little extra there. And then let gravity also do the work until it hits your parchment lined baking sheet. So you can repeat those until they're all done. If you use the melting chocolate wafers, what's great about this is they will solidify at room temperature, so you don't have to put them into a fridge or a freezer. They're going to take a little longer at room temperature to harden, but from there you can keep them room temperature and just store them in a bag or an airtight container. If you use chocolate chips, you may, depending on the ambient temperature in your room, have to put them in the refrigerator. That's no big deal. They'll taste great. They just might start to melt a little when they come into contact with your fingers. So from there, that is your 4-ingredient recipe, how to make homemade Butterfinger from candy corn. I know I'm definitely going to buy extra so I can try it this year. Definitely check out the end result. We have some awesome homemade fun-sized Butterfinger and some more candy corn because I can't help myself. I hope you enjoyed today's posting. If you have any questions about any of the things that we're doing, definitely send in a chat or let us know. Thank you so much for coming in today. Take care, have fun, happy Halloween.